The crew of the Endeavour gathered in the lounge, sipping synthetic beverages and sharing stories from their latest holodeck adventure. Okay, Commander Vargas said, leaning forward. So we're in the middle of the American Civil War simulation, right? It's all going smoothly. Everyone's in character. The cannons are firing. We're crouching behind sandbags, and then out of nowhere, white armored soldiers on hoverbikes come charging at us, laser pistols blazing. Elena Patel laughed, taking a sip of her drink. Right, I remember that. You were holding the rifle, and I swear you just froze when you saw them. I did not freeze, Vargas protested, raising her hands in mock defense. I just thought, well, this is a new twist on history. But then, one of those soldiers shoots at me. I duck, but next thing I know, I've got a lightsaber in my hand, and I'm charging at them like a Jedi. He grinned widely, his eyes sparkling with the memory. Patel nodded. I still can't believe how we managed to take them down. No one even knew where they came from, but it turned into a full-blown lightsaber duel in the middle of Gettysburg. Well, Vargas said with a raised eyebrow, I'm just glad the program let us take the wrong turn. Who could have predicted that? They all chuckled, their laughter echoing through the room. As they relaxed into the conversation, a soft alert sounded across the lounge. Vargas frowned as she glanced at the readout on the wall. Hold on. We've got an anomaly ahead. A ship. But, wait. What is that speed? That's almost barely above light speed. Patel leaned over and stared at the display, her expression confused. That ship is moving slower than anything I've seen. How is it even maintaining that speed? The Endeavour was closing in on the object, a massive, metallic vessel gliding effortlessly through space. It was unusual, not just in speed, but in its lack of urgency. It seemed like it had all the time in the world. Vargas tapped a few commands on the console. Let's hail them. Something's off. We've never encountered anything moving so slowly in all of space. Moments later, a transmission was received. On the screen appeared a calm, composed figure with eyes like polished orbs and a serene demeanor. Greetings, Endeavour. We are the Safe Herd, a peaceful species. You seem concerned. Is there a problem? Vargas blinked. Are you flying that slowly on purpose? That's barely above light speed. Are you sure everything's all right? The Safe Herd's representative responded with a slight tilt of their head. Yes, everything is fine. We simply prefer to travel with caution. Speed brings risks that are unnecessary. We didn't mean to intrude, Vargas said, now even more confused. We were just curious. Most ships, they hurry. You're barely moving. The representative from the Safe Herd smiled gently. We have all the time in the universe. No need to rush. We value peace and safety above all else. If you wish, we would be honored to invite you aboard for an official meeting. We can discuss matters in more detail. Vargas tried to maintain his usual boastful composure but ended up huffing and puffing instead. A moment, please. Muting the audio, he spun toward Patel, eyes wide. No way. AFing, real first contact. Are we qualified? Patel remained calm, her tone matter-of-fact. We are obliged. Vargas scraped his throat, trying to summon his usual bravado. Right. First contact protocols, then. This is it will go down in history as... Yes, Patel interrupted with a deadpan stare. Will go down in history. While the humans prepared for their historic encounter, the Safe Herd's vessel buzzed with equally frantic energy. The humans had been detected traveling at a mind-boggling 3 times the speed of light. When the Safe Herd observed their ship approaching for contact, however, it slowed to a nerve-wracking 10 meters per second, a deliberate crawl that seemed to mock the very concept of caution. Safaril stood before the gathered crew, feathers slightly ruffled but his voice calm. It's not all that bad, he began, his eye stalks swiveling to meet the anxious gazes around him. Think about it. Intelligent creatures evolve to avoid unnecessary risk. Their systems must be so advanced that such speeds pose no significant danger. The crew shifted uneasily, half convinced by his reasoning. Still, one voice rose hesitantly. But would those speeds be insurable? Safaril paused, nodding slowly. A good question. Yes, we must inquire about the reliability of their systems. It's only a wise precaution. Satisfied he had soothed their concerns, Safaril excused himself to prepare for the momentous encounter. Donning his finest ceremonial cape, he allowed himself a moment of self-congratulation. He had calmed the crew. He was well on his way to earning that coveted 50% discount on all insurance premiums, which would allow him to insure against even the most unlikely events freezing, for instance, which never occurred on his homeworld but was surely a prudent precaution nonetheless. Still, as he adjusted his cape, doubt flickered in his mind. The humans were unlike anything they'd ever encountered. For a fleeting moment, fear whispered that there was something off with this species. But Safaril shoved the thought aside, repeating his own words to himself. These are intelligent beings. Nothing to be scared of. Nothing to run from. He straightened his eye stalks, took a deep breath, and stepped out, determined to face the humans with all the composure he could muster. The Endeavour moved to rendezvous with the Safe Herd's ship, its slow approach almost surreal in the void of space. It was a stark contrast to the chaotic, fast-paced lifestyle of the crew. Eventually, the ships merged, magnetic clamps holding them together. As they entered the Safe Herd vessel's docking bay, the crew of the Endeavour couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong, yet the calm and peaceful demeanor of the Safe Herd made them hesitant to voice their doubts. When they disembarked and began their tour, the tranquility of the ship was like a weight pressing down on them. There was no sense of urgency, no sense of time. The walls and halls seemed infinite, filled with no purpose other than contemplation. And it felt safe. Too safe. As the Endeavour crew made their way through the Safe Herd ship, something immediately stood out to Patel. The lack of traditional doors was striking. Instead, long strands of metallic beads hung in every doorway, room, and corridor, swaying gently as the crew passed by. Patel couldn't help but ask, "Isn't this impractical?" No doors, just beads. The guide from the Safe Herd gave a serene smile. Doors are too risky. They require constant maintenance, can malfunction, and create barriers. These beads are simple, magnetized, flexible, and safe. In emergencies, they automatically interlock, providing a barrier where needed. Vargas raised an eyebrow. So no locking doors? Just beads? Correct, the guide affirmed. They are a much more efficient way of managing space while avoiding the vulnerabilities of traditional doctor mechanisms. A little exposure isn't dangerous when one has control over it. We find this system is more in tune with our philosophy. Patel nodded slowly, still mulling over the concept. It was so different from anything they'd ever encountered. To them, doors were the standard, something they relied on to keep their own spaces secure and private. The crew moved on, still trying to absorb the strange calmness of the place, but the Safe Herd seemed completely unbothered. When a safety drill alarm went off, the beads quickly snapped together, forming an impenetrable wall between the crew and the emergency area. The crew glanced around as the alarm continued to wail, but the calm and methodical reaction of the Safe Herd left them feeling oddly at ease. "See?" the guide said softly. "No doors, no sudden locks. Just flexibility when we need it most." Patel raised an eyebrow. It's certainly a unique approach. The crew moved on, the strange and peaceful clinking of beads echoing in their wake. It was a simple thing, the beads, but it told them all they needed to know about the Safe Herd's way of thinking. Cautious, thoughtful, and always prepared for the unexpected but in the calmest, most controlled way possible. Vargas raised a finger. "I guess I could get used to this. If I had all the time in the universe." "Exactly," the guide said, practically glowing with pride. On the return visit, Safaril followed Vargas and Patel to the lounge, where holographic displays of Earth scenery adorned the walls. Vargas gestured toward a gleaming room behind a transparent door. That's our holodeck, he said proudly. One of our favorite technologies. It can recreate any environment or scenario you can imagine, complete with hard light holograms you can interact with. Fascinating, Safaril said, their eye stalks swiveling to examine the glowing doorway. But isn't such a device inherently dangerous? Vargas waved his bionic arm dismissively. Oh, the holodeck isn't that dangerous. Sure, there are glitches occasionally, but they are rare. Only 5.2% of the episodes have holodeck malfunctions, Patel added, her tone as calm as ever. Most of them minor. Like that time we were surfing in Hawaii, and the program sort of melded with a winter survival sim, Vargas said with a grin. Hawaii? Safaril asked hesitantly. It's a tropical paradise on Earth, Vargas explained. Warm breezes, golden sands, crystal clear water. You ride waves on a board, great fun. Anyway, the transition was so sudden. One moment I was catching the perfect wave, and the next, I was skimming over hard-packed ice. The warm sunlight was gone in an instant, replaced by this blinding, icy glare. The wind hit me like a freight train, icy needles cutting through my swim trunks. I barely had time to crouch on the board when I realized I wasn't just on ice, I was flying down the side of a mountain. Snow and jagged rocks everywhere. And then, Vargas's grin widened. I heard it. This low, growing rumble. An avalanche. Safaril's skin visibly paled. I dodged what I could. Big boulder almost wiped me out, caught the board's edge, and sent me spinning. By the time I recovered, the avalanche was right behind me. I managed to get to a ledge and launch myself clear just as the snow rushed past. Lost feeling in my fingers from the cold, but hey, it's all good now. Vargas flexed his bionic fingers proudly. Safaril's voice cracked. You survived that? Oh yeah. Medbay fixed me right up. The adrenaline rush was worth it. Before Safaril could process this, Patel chimed in. That was nothing. Remember the amusement park clowns? Vargas let out a hearty laugh. Oh man, that was a nightmare. We were supposed to be in this old-school carnival program. You know, cotton candy, Ferris wheels, the works. Somehow, the system glitched and merged it with a survival horror scenario. Patel shuddered at the memory. 1 second, I'm enjoying a carousel ride. The next, the music slows down to this eerie, broken tune, and all the clowns start looking wrong. Their smiles got too wide, their eyes too empty. And then one pulled out a mallet and smashed a stall to pieces. They weren't just creepy, they were dangerous, Vargas added. We had to fight our way out. Acid balloons, razor-sharp juggling pins, it was chaos. I swear I've never run so fast in my life. Safaril's eye stalks trembled. But the real doozy, Vargas said, lowering his voice dramatically, was the paleontological excursion. A study of fossils? Safaril asked, relieved. Not exactly. Vargas smirked. It was a prehistoric simulation. We were supposed to observe herbivorous dinosaurs in their natural habitat. Just a peaceful tour, right? But then, because why not, the system threw in a couple of apex predators for realism. Patel groaned. Yeah. Realism. Great idea. A Tyrannosaurus broke through the tree line, roaring like the world was ending. We scattered, Vargas continued. I climbed a tree, but that only made me eye level with a pack of raptors. One of them leapt at me, I barely blocked it with my hand. He knocked on his bionic fingers. Still got the claw marks to prove it. I almost got trampled, Patel said. A stampede of duck-billed dinosaurs came out of nowhere, panicking over the T-Rex. I had to roll under a fallen log to avoid being crushed. And don't forget the lava, Vargas added casually. Lava? Safaril squeaked. Yeah, apparently the program decided to simulate a volcanic eruption for added authenticity. It was intense. By now, Safaril's eye stalks were trembling uncontrollably. Perhaps they whipered. It was a mistake to pursue a diplomatic career. The 50% discount on all insurance premiums seemed so enticing, but now, I am not sure it is worth this. This insanity. Nobody heard his whisper as he returned to his quarters faster than anyone in the safe herd had moved for millennia. Sepharal's report to the Safe Herds Council was anything but composed. Dragged into the meeting room by aides, their feathers ruffled and their eye stalks twitching uncontrollably, Sepharal began with a desperate outburst. Sepharal pounded the table, frantic now. The raptors, they were everywhere. And the clowns. They wanted to kill us. And the avalanche. And the lava. It was a nightmare. They do this on purpose. You don't understand. We must leave before they... The council members exchanged uncertain glances. Perhaps, one of the elders said, raising a hand cautiously, you should take a rest. Your experience may be clouding your judgment. We have to run. We have to leave. They look so cute, so harmless, but they're predators hiding in plain sight, smiling assassins. All of them. Sepharal's voice nearly broke. He was heavily panting as they stood there. The council stared at them in silence for a long moment before one of the elders finally raised a hand, voice calm and unbothered. Perhaps you've been overstressed. You should rest before making any more reports. No! Sepharal screeched, lunging toward the table. You don't understand. They're coming for us next. A medical team entered, gently restraining Sepharal as they thrashed and ranted incoherently. The dinosaurs. The avalanche. The lava. They laughed. Sepharal was sedated and removed from the chamber. As Sepharal's panic began to subside on their journey home, they briefly reflected on the stark differences between their people and the humans. The safe herd, after all, were the only known species to have developed a planetary meteorite shield before a communication satellite, a fact they considered a crowning achievement of foresight and responsibility. And why not? Every citizen of the safe herd was also insured against meteorite strikes, despite the shield's near-perfect track record. You couldn't be too sure after all. That redundancy, they thought, was what separated a prudent species from the recklessness of the cosmos. A period of unease settled in among the council members. They were skeptical about Sepharal's assessment. No intelligent being could live that way, or could they? Yet, the sheer distress in Sepharal's report was hard to ignore. Insurance is the cornerstone of a civilized society, one elder council member declared, their voice firm. Every risk must have a countermeasure. Meteorite strikes, natural disasters, accidental hatching of voidworms, everything. Everything except humans, another member muttered darkly. There isn't a policy in the galaxy that could cover that kind of madness. Sepharal, still trembling from their experience, interjected. It's not just madness. It's deliberate madness. They create risks and laugh as they face them. Who programs clowns to become homicidal? Who genetically engineers predators for entertainment? After more deliberations, the youngest council member was reluctantly volunteered to make contact via video screen and seek clarification. The council assured him it was merely a precautionary measure. Elena Patel, answered the transmission, her calm smile an effort to put the alien at ease. We're terribly sorry if there's been a misunderstanding, Patel said, her expression sincere. I can assure you, there are no actual raptors in any of our amusement parks. The council representative let out a relieved chirp, eye stalks relaxing. That's reassuring. Oh, and about the incidents, incidents, Patel continued, oblivious to the mounting tension as she launched into details of the holodeck mishaps. Yes, there was that time with the clowns, but those were holographic clowns. And the avalanche on the mountain simulation, well, that was just a minor glitch in the environmental settings. Things like that are rare. Really, nothing to be alarmed about. The representative, now stiff with unease, hesitated before speaking. But no raptors? Patel laughed lightly, waving a dismissive hand. Oh, no. We wouldn't have real raptors in a holodeck simulation. She paused, her brow furrowing. Actually, we don't need to. We've got theme parks for that. Theme parks? Yeah, sure. Jurassic Adventure is a huge hit with families. The animatronics are amazing well. Most of them are animatronics. A few are genetically engineered, but the containment fields are top-notch. Accidents are extremely rare. The representative froze. Genetically engineered raptors? In a theme park? Are they controlled? Patel, unaware of their distress, casually continues. Oh, they're safe. The theme park's amazing. You should really... Vargas appeared suddenly, leaning over Patel with a grin. Absolutely! You should visit sometime. The T-Rex feeding show is incredible. Oh, but you'd want to avoid the splash zone. I hear the cleanup crew is still finding bits of that tourist drone from last month. The transmission abruptly ended as the council representative disconnected, their eye stalks flailing in panic, leaving Sepharl in the corner quietly muttering, "We warned them." With trembling hands, Sepharl finished his report. It is with great regret that I must recommend total isolation from humanity. Their unpredictability defies all known measures of prudence. Even our finest insurers admit they cannot calculate the odds of human chaos, let alone offer a policy against it. We must flee or risk everything. Back on the Endeavour, Commander Vargas read the latest report from Fleet Intelligence, frowning. The safe herd systems were emptied overnight, an entire exodus. No warning. No explanation. Just gone. Commander Vargas frowned, turning the report over in his hands, puzzled. The safe herd had been a symbol of absolute control, traveling from world to world, shaping sapient civilizations for their own benefit. For centuries, they had existed in safety. But now they were fleeing. And no one knew why. Odd, Patel said, leaning over her shoulder. Think we scared them off? Why would we? We were so nice to them. Even let them try the holodeck, Vargas said, spreading his arms wide. The crew shared a puzzled shrug. We followed the contact protocol to the letter. Patel added, Guess we'll never understand aliens, huh? Vargas chuckled, flipping to the next report.